a truck. Whole team chasing bags while they chasing us. Calling audible, I read the game, I think it's time to switch. You get hit if I miss, then my teammates got the blitz. Yeah, move the chains, I'm about to make a play. Move the chains, tell them get up out the way. Move the chains, I'm about to win the game. Move the chains, baby, tell them move the chains. We run this East Coast, West Coast. Yeah, we run it, oh, we run this shit. We run this down south, represent your coast. Yeah, we run it, oh, we run this shit.
Just here to front again. I got a flight in the morning, I see what you've been trying to do, and I'm a mission to border. You think I never pay attention? In my mind I'm recording, I'm about to win, I'm ruin all your goals and dreams out of board. I'm riding around with homies like we run the city. Looking fresh and feeling like a millie. Moving silence, you can never hear me. If you got a problem when you see me,
Trying to show you what we came to do. Boss, only talking, making major moves. Rolls Royce, no top. Me, no one will ever stop. Me, so long I got my back against the wall. No I'm well bound, but I'm well now. On the road to riches, I can never lay around. So don't make a sound unless you make it loud. Everybody scream, everybody scream, everybody scream. That's my only thing. I'm a born winner, a Jordan 23. All my people G's until the party cease. Run it.
新月光的球迷朋友们，大家好！欢迎呢，在周二呢，哇，下班时间还赶来看我们的球赛。我是今天的主持人，球给彭尊的彭尊，大家好。那今天呢，将是我们本季例行赛最后一场的比赛。新北光呢，本周呢 All In 主题周，希望在今天呢最后的时刻呢，跟禁卫军一起 All In 守护新庄城堡，全力备战季后赛。那场边呢，进场呢，我们依然呢还是准备相当多的小游戏以及好礼哦，让大家可以一同参与。那在我们预测摊位呢，今天呢是成功预测首位投进3分球的国王球员呢，我们将会抽出一位可以获得 Josephine 林书伟的签名球衣，而且这一件呢是他比赛中穿过球衣。那现在呢还来得及，所以喜欢书伟的球迷呢，现在呢摊位呢还可以进行一个预测的活动。那我们2楼的摊位呢，以及中场呢，我们都是由小美冰淇淋、小美新北国王华杯神射手挑战准备了许多礼物。中场我们也会邀请呢4位球迷呢，获胜的朋友呢，我觉得有趣的是，你可以在场中央吃小美冰淇淋。还可以打到篮球，机会也是蛮特别的。所以等一下呢，我们在找球迷的时候呢，中场游戏记得呢发出你的噪音，让我们知道你在哪边。那一样呢，我们呢每一场呢，我们都会票根要记得留着，我们会随机抽出一位新的球迷哦，在结束后呢，会可以兑换8000元 Lululemon 任意门市8000元的等值商品，所以记得呢，你的票根呢不要留着。好，那周二的比赛现场呢，我们一起来先来振奋一下。我们现在邀请我们欢迎我们的新北国王啦队 Queens 来帮大家打气一下。
booties, big booties, all booties. Who else got an ass like this? Who else throw it back like this? What else make them act like this? What else make them act like this? Yeah, I know you like my booty, 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 booty. Yeah, I know you like my booty, 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 booty. Yeah, I know you like my
flat tummy and my shade tee. 1 in 99 reason bitches hate me. Love it when I poke it out and act fake sleep. Hit it from the back, making beats like Taipei. Girl, he love it. Yeah. I'ma shake it like dice. Wrapped around my finger, eating booty from the bite. Booty make him cry. Booty make a nigga swipe. Booty walk him in the store and tell him hurry up and buy. Shake what your doctor gave ya. It's a lot of bitches wishing they could see me fail. Shake what your doctor gave ya. I'ma make him pay the second round of this BBL.
Who else got an ass like this? Who else throw it back like this? What else make them act like this? What else make them act like this?
Yeah, I know he like my
booty, 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 booty. Yeah, I know you like my booty, 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 booty.
Yeah, I know he like my
booty, 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 bootylicious. Booty make him cook, booty make him do the dishes. Booty, booty, make him wanna turn me to his missus. Booty, booty, make him wanna give me all his riches. Booty, 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 booty. Yeah, I know you like my booty, 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 booty. Yeah, I know you like my.
再一次呢，把掌声给我们新北光啦队 Queen。那记得呢，我们最佳啦队投票已经开跑了哈，大家知道要投给谁了。好，那我们在球员介绍出场之前呢，今天呢，我们特别与新北市政府警局呢，我们将进行一个隆重的颁奖仪式呢。现场呢，我们有邀请了超过500名的警务人员以及亲朋好友呢来到现场。那可以说呢，今天新庄体育馆是全台湾最安全的主场，好不好？那新北市政府警察局呢，是全国任务最繁忙的警察局，8000名员警呢，每天呢和做这位城市的每一个角落，维护治安、交通，为民服务。那今天呢，我们特别邀请13位新北英雄呢，谢谢他们冒着无数次的生命危险。强悍执法，夺刀呢救命，捍卫我们的城市，守护我们的城市。请大家看向我们的大荧幕。谢意。首先进场的是海山分局小队长陈志凯。看来那个家属在哪边已经很明显了。巡佐陈廷任，麻烦站到我的左边来。海山分局警员吴伯全。林博廷，哇，他们从球员通道走出来也是非常的帅啊！三重分局警员黄奇正、胡展佳、张欣怡、永和分局警员潘佑哲，有种先发的感觉哦。罗金勇，瑞芳分局副所长蔡明良，警员于敏玲，新店分局警员肖明正，以及柯红玉。最后，让我们用最热烈的欢呼声欢迎我们 新北市政府警察局局长廖训成局长。这就是应该算是警局里面的敏哥了，好不好？那接下来呢，我们要请局长呢颁发2月份、3月份中情及综艺楷模奖。那我们麻烦呢，奖杯呢，我们请给副局长。那我们请吕副局长呢来接过我们啦啦队 Queens 呢的奖项，我们来颁发我们2月份、3月份中情及综艺的楷模奖。稍等一下哦。那我们也同时呢，我们也先邀请呢我们毛嘉恩总经理一同呢上来致赠新北国王全队签名。好，那这13位呢，都是我们新北的英雄啊！每一天呢，在我们看得到、看不到的时间呢，都在维护我们的治安、交通，为民服务。那今天非常特别呢，有机会到新庄体育馆感受一下我们球场的氛围，也每一个都像篮球员一样一同进场。我们啦啦队 Queens 今天也是非常的端庄的感觉，好不好？一个颁奖的感觉。请媒体朋友呢帮我们捕捉一下、记录一下这珍贵的一刻。好，那我们也请副局长帮我们站到中间，我们也请总经理毛嘉恩呢致赠我们新北国王全队的签名球衣，我麻烦到我们中间请。我们请我们所有的警员再往左边移一点，再往左边一点，两边平衡一下。那副局长呢以及毛总呢，我们就在中间。那怕被毛总挡到了，我们就自己找位置哈。媒体朋友 OK 了吗？好，那新北市政府呢，警察局呢，同样呢也想回赠一顶帽子呢，来给我们的新北国王的毛总。好，媒体朋友 OK 了吗？好，我们再一次谢谢新北市警察局的这13位英雄，以及我们副局长，以及呢我们毛总毛嘉恩。成为例行赛王者的禁卫军们，我们依旧保持高档战力。本场比赛为例行赛最后一场，将于城堡面对新竹街口工程师。那今天请所有的球迷朋友一起 all in。首先为各位介绍客队新竹街口工程师，2号江广谦，5号宋宇轩，9号田浩。11号肖顺义，12号李佳瑞 21号伊波卡，23号吕其敏。接下来为各位介绍先发人 Starting Five，3号泰勒，4号高国豪，7号曾博玉，13号班尼特，24号郭少杰。总经理林冠伦，助理教练沈清汉、陈哲宇，基尔马丁、黄胜富，领队丽莎姐。接下来，请新北光所有球迷将目光一致上方大荧幕。例行赛最后一场 ，Are you ready？ 接下来进场的是新北国王。首先为各位介绍 Number 22， 来自建行科大禁卫军小钢炮高淳恩。Number 24， 关键大心脏小胖洪志胜。Number 4， 来自世新大学禁卫军预算大叔李伟霆。Number 7， 观众哪爱看小丽林立人。Number 3， 来自国立体大小命陈俊南。Number 19， 皇家大锁榜哥林金榜。Number 15， 来自政治大学小豪曾宇豪。Number 25， 同样来自政治大学欧马尔小 Q 聂欧马。接下来为各位介绍新北国王先发五人 Starting Five。Number 1， 就这样被你征服 One of One Joseph Lee 林书伟。Number 55， 新北直升机。
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, seniors and youth. For the final time here before the playoffs, the new Taipei Kings host the Hsinchu Lioneers on a little bonus plus League Tuesday night basketball. Starting things off with the Kings introduction. Last to be introduced for the home Kings is amigo Yang Jiming. Will be starting tonight after having his first career DNP for a rotational rest. There's the standings on your screen. what was last season's first-round matchup, the Lioneers now find themselves at the bottom of the Plus League standings and slated with the first overall pick of the 2023 Plus League Amateur Draft. The Kings, who they defeated, will now have home court advantage, which played a huge role in last year in their elimination, having to go to Hsinchu for the winner-take-all game. On screen now is the Mandarin broadcast duo of Aaron Yang Zhenlei and Eddie 张耀宗。球迷朋友们，你找到了 Plus League 官方的英文转播，要看郑磊跟耀宗的讲评，当然就按到官方的中文连接。但离开之前，请帮我们的转播都按赞。Starting yesterday, the best home court and the best cheerleading squad vote has now begun. Somebody got to tell Eddie to flip the tissues around as the Kings have especially prepared for this last home game. Moved to accommodate the CTBC DEA's match on Sunday, another pro team in the island of Taiwan in a different pro league. The stadium staff had quite a few turnovers before this season is said and done, as they are in their playoffs, and the Kings slated to start next Friday night against whoever will be the fourth place team. I'm Ryan Chen, joined by Darren Portell on the English broadcast. Darren, the number one guy that we're going to talk about tonight is Venti Hongzhisan, who had a Plus League career high, 26 points, 8 3-pointers. A veteran who goes to show there's still something to play for in these last few games.
Yeah, it's good to have a veteran like that can come through and come through in the clutch like that, especially when you have some players that are out, maybe even resting, and so he can come through and hit some big shots for you.
In the game on May 6th, last Saturday versus the Dreamers, despite taking the loss, the Kings showed a lot of life by making a comeback later in the game, having what is maybe in association football so-called very much a rotational side with a lot of their main guys getting the day off. Presumably, they'll try to get a run in here at home and then one last game against the Lioneers next week. But speaking to Venti in the pregame about his own personal attitude to finish season and the team's setting.
带来的帮助一定就是身体上的修养嘛。那再来就是我觉得练一个方面层面来说，应该就是对于球赛的饥渴，因为他们可能需要慢慢的对于比赛有那一种渴望去打球的感觉，所以我觉得这个方面的轮休对他们来说是好事，因为在季后赛来说，他们上场时间已经是很多的，对，所以这一方面的休息跟给他们内心有一些渴望打球的，我觉得是有帮助的。其实很多人会看说，年轻球员到底上场有没有得分，或者是他在进攻端到底给球队多少贡献。可是，或许对教练来说，有没有达到他对于这个球员所设定的方向跟目标？比如说欧玛，他在防守端，他可能很认真在防守，这可能是很多球迷没有看到的东西，或者是比如说俊男，大家觉得说哦他得0分，可是他在球场上的正负值是教练需要看到的东西，就是他在所谓这个组合上面，他对球队带来的是什么东西？我觉得这是教练团比较需要的东西，而不是说这个球员上场就只顾着得分之类的。对。
Venti sharing that part of the reason behind it, giving some of the main guys their rest later in the season is, of course, to prevent from injuries, but also maybe for them to keep their edge and not use it on a game that doesn't matter in the standings. Then sharing about how young players, especially guys like maybe number 3 Chen Junnan, might be judged too harshly on scoring, but the coaching staff has their own set goals on a game-to-game basis with their young players. And of course, making the joke at the beginning that he doesn't need any rest, even as a veteran on the team, borderline on being on one of these pro teams' coaching staff. On the other side, it was Guo Shaojie, who we spoke to pre-game. And on screen now is 3 of the pretty big injuries that the Lioneers had to be dealing with in the recent weeks. For the longest part, it's Xiao Sunyi on the left side. Last game played was March 26th, and something in the left knee needs to work off of. But on April 15th, guard Tian Hao and shooter Zhu Yihao have also had smaller injuries that they've been having to work off. And that kind of is the story of the Lioneers season. Early in the year, it was Oscar Gagwal who had a missed time. They've never really been able to put it together, and it really shows in their season record.
Yeah, you know, when you miss some key players, especially like Oscar, who's the floor general, you got to find somebody to come in, and if they get hurt, then you're having to really switch among your personnel and find that group that can play well together. And unfortunately, they've had some struggles doing that this year.
Have given a lot of opportunity to number 7 in Zemboi or Joker, who's, you could say, filled in admirably, but not quite to the record that the team wants. The team, in not being healthy this season, have only had 12.1 active players per game versus, of course, the league allowed 13 players. 多少节 per game？
就是队友，然后或者是家人都会提醒我说，不管你上时间多或少，就是把你自己该做的事情做好，然后不管是练球或比赛，就是你就是要多付出，然后就是一定会有收获这样子。就是球队最近就是伤病潮蛮多的嘛，那我知道就是伤病潮多，那我上场时间就一定会变多嘛。那在场上就是做对的事情，然后把握每一球，就是对球队有贡献。因为在场上就是你有表现，你上场时间就一定会增加。的确外线就是我第一个武器嘛。那就是平常在练习的时候就告诉自己说，上了球场不管是比赛啊或是练球，就是放轻松，然后该投就投，就是比较犹豫。
That is number 24, Guo Shaojie, who shared that his teammates and his family members have been reminding him to, no matter his playing time, to stay ready and to prepare. And the old saying, you reap what you sow. And about the team's injuries, he knew he would play more, and so he wanted to do the right things, take advantage of every opportunity, make sure to shoot the shots when he's open, and to stay relaxed. Guo Shaojie, after coming over from the Taipei Fuan Braves in his second season, as there's a question mark as to which team he will sign with as a free agent next year. Maybe back with the Lioneers, as of course they have lots of openings theoretically with the way they played this year, but really a team in flux, so it's kind of hard to determine what Coach Greg and the staff are looking for in these final set of games before the end of the regular season.
Yeah, finishing this season strong, I think, is good for the Lioneers, but you know, what are they looking forward into next season also, and the kind of personnel they want to bring in and the style of play they want to incorporate into the Lioneers game.
The starting 5 with the Lioneers: Jeremy Tyler, Oscar Gogglehall, Zemboi, Anthony Bennett, Guo Shaojie, and on the King side, actually maybe their best lineup, Joseph Lin, Ling Shuwei, Byron Mullins, Amigu Yang Jimin, Quincy Davis getting his second start in this season, and Kenny Manigal. So some interesting roster and interesting lineups to start the game. We'll see what kind of fireworks that has for both teams. Bennett and Tyler's second game together since March 26th. And a loss to the Dreamers. The Kings honoring the members of the New Taipei law enforcement with Liu Xingtai in the middle for the ceremonial opening tip. The season series belongs to the Kings at 4 wins and 2 losses. The 2 victories for the Lioneers, one on January 14th by 1 point on the Zhu Yinghao miracle layup, and then April 2nd, Jeremy Tyler's 40 bomb in the Kings after they had to play the Pilots in overtime. There's the tip, and after a couple swipes, the home team in the Kings wearing yellow will start with the possession. Lioneers in their alternative purple jerseys. Little back pass to Quincy Davis. His first shot 3 is a swish.
The Lioneers are going to have to be on their toes tonight, especially with the starting 5 that the Kings have, because every one of them can shoot from the outside.
Tyler taking the bump and getting the lay-in. In 6 head-to-heads between these 2 teams, the Lioneers have used 5 different combinations of imports. with Tyler and Bennett finally paired up together. A little holding foul as Byron Mullins had positioning inside. Get another look at that left hand hooking, while the right hand trying to cause the deflection. Byron Mullins again, but this time on the post up with a turnaround, too strong. Tyler aims it up, then fires away. No good, and here come the Kings. Mullins underneath the cup with a hook shot, his first score of the ball game.
Byron looked healthy on that, getting back quickly, calling for the fast break pass. Especially, it's nice to have a big man who can get down the court like that, especially before the defense is, and have an attempt at an easy basket.
Jeremy Tyler trying to countering, 2 bounces and out. Kenny Manigault, who's really jumped on the scene later in the season, is actually, in fact, voted on as one of the more popular players in the league, the top 8, in fact. A little turnaround by Joker Zemboyer, and quick pace going on. Q screening for Amigo, who leaves the runner short. Looking the other way, Jeremy Tyler will get the reverse lay.
Going back to Kenny Manigault, he had a lot of playing time, especially when Byron was out. So he got a lot of exposure during that time and really proved that he could handle the pressure that was put on him.
That's right. Again, for the second season in a row, the Kings leading the league in only 1 import active game day rosters. Mullins had a mismatch but passed out of it. And the referees will say he'll stay with the Kings after a little long distance conference call they just had. Mullins eyes down, aims it up, and a big bounce for the Lioneers. Quickly down the floor, Guo Shaojie to Zemboyer. His corner 3, no good. The kind of shot they want, for sure. Zemboyer on the season, only a 22% three-point shooter, though. Kenny Manigault with Anthony Bennett guarding, gets the left-handed lay-in.
It might have been a size difference, but Manigault definitely had the speed difference in that play right there, driving to the basket with a little left-handed layup.
And Bennett in and out with that one. The Lioneers have Willie Martino for a 12-game in 13 stretch as Manigault again coast to coast. Lioneers were getting away with Byron Mullins touches early, but allowing dribble penetration is not really acceptable as Oscar gets a teardrop in.
Well, as we said earlier, these Kings are really, the lineup that they have, all 5 of them are deadly, so they've got to really keep an eye on every one of them. They can't switch, or they have a hard time switching, or they even double teaming would be an issue for them.
A little bit of a zone up as Byron Mullins cleaning up his own miss there. Pace of this game pretty fast. Oscar getting the screen from Bennett. Maneuver into space. The mid-range is a beauty.
Be interesting to see how long the Kings can keep this lineup in with this pace. With Byron still trying to get his feet underneath him after being gone for several games.
He's played 2 in the last 3 games, with Kenny Manigault even having some rotational rest. But nobody checks Guo Shaojie, who gets the right-handed reverse. But no movement on the Kings bench. They're going to let their guys run. And presumably, this lineup won't see that much time together this whole game. Maybe in the second half to start, but there's got to be a lot more other bodies coming in later. Amigo hesitates, then flipping a hook pass to Mullins. Was pretty, but Byron Mullins has not exactly had that 3-stroke working since returning from injury.
He struggled a little bit from the outside, and so they're hoping that he can get back on track with that before the playoffs start. He can be a potent weapon from the outside the 3-point line.
Missed by Jeremy Tyler as Amigo quick post up, but Guo Shaojie holds his ground. A little back and forth. Baseline off glass for Amigo.
Amigo with the slip and the reverse layup there. He's looking a little young with that move right there.
Well, he's only last year's MVP.
Hey, that is true.
At 37 years old. Zumbu, you're blocked by Joseph. He gets a 0.4 blocks per game, one of the leading guards in that department. As alley to Q, dangerous play as Uncle Q stumbles but finds his footing. He'll get a chance for a three-point play.
And the Kings are still pushing the ball up the court every rebound. And that for that time it paid off with the little alley-oop to Q with the foul on the shot.
Our first timeout of the game with 6 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter. You're watching the Plus League on a Tuesday night. The new Taipei Queens, one of 5 squads trying to dethrone the Dreamers cheerleading squad for winning the best cheerleading squad title 2 seasons in a row, just like the Lioneers, 2-time champs of the best home court. And but the most important title, the Taipei Fulham Braves, 2-time champions of the Plus League on the basketball court. They'll be starting things off as the 2 seed, and we'll have the home court advantage in the first round against the Pilots that start on Saturday, May 20th. And so, funny thing, because there's such a small league, they actually played the Pilots on a Sunday, but of course in a game where both teams kind of feeling each other out, not expanding on the playbook. The Pilots, in fact, only had Jason Washburn, a healthy import for them, and they still made it a pretty close game.
Yeah, coming down to the end of the season, you don't want to display too much of what you're going to be doing in the playoffs. And so just utilize your bench as much as you can and finish out the season well without getting any injuries.
No substitutions for both teams, and so the same 10 out there. Quincy Davis, a little tangled up with Tyler, who picks up the dribble. No, Zumbu Hall is in there for Mullins as they get a 3-second call down low.
He was not happy. He felt like Quincy had his hands all over him and wasn't giving him the space to make the move that he needed to or the pass that he was wanting to.
Quincy Davis looking back door, but that one poked. Taking a dribble, and they'll whistle first. That'll be, I think that is 3 fouls on the Lioneer side as you get another look. Davis going through and got swiped by Bennett and Tyler on the arms. If I'm looking at the scoreboard correctly, it was assessed to Jeremy Tyler, who will go off for Iboka.
That being his second foul early in the first quarter, they needed to get him out at sub. They didn't want to take the chance of him receiving any more fouls, especially so early in the game.
He has been ejected early from a contest as Quincy Davis blows the close one and gets the putback, costing Joseph an assist there. But the 2 points for the home Kings. Iboka now trying to take Yu Hao with power out to Sao Jie. His three dances off the rim.
The Lioneers are struggling on the offensive boards. They're not really crashing it.
An air ball by Amigo. I wonder if it's the good defense by Guo Shaojie, as now the Lioneers want to make a couple substitutions. The previous time Quincy Davis made a start in the season was back on March 7th in a home win against the Dreamers, though he only played 24 minutes, 9 points, and 14 rebounds. Xiao Sui fresh in the game. Overhead pass to Oscar. The long shot is on the way, but off. Kenny Manigault again slices to the cup and scores. Again, more dribble penetration that the Lioneers are allowing, and that'll be a timeout called by Coach Greg on the visitors' bench. Top scorer of the game is Quincy Davis with 7, but Kenny Manigault's last bucket made it 6 points, as we see a little bit of a contest for MVP, as our production partners at Formosa Television suggesting Amigo Yang Jingming, 14.6 points per game, is third in the league, but against maybe Joseph Lintz, 11.8 points per game. Also 5.2 assists per game, is second among all locals in an interesting contest. And a big trade for James Maul to bring Joseph over from the Braves while trading away his rookie and third overall pick, KJ, along with Stevel, and a conditional first-round pick. But based on what Joseph has done on the season, it seems to work for both teams. And if you're the Kings, happy to have 2 MVP candidates going for you.
Yeah, Joseph has really stepped up this year, and he's so versatile out there at the point guard position. So you really have to know where he is, and with his dribble penetration, ability to kick out, or even pull up from the three, you just really have to have somebody on him that can play good defense, because he is so versatile.
His brother likes to point out his plus-minus number as well. Plus 216, still leads the league. The next closest player is Michael Singletary at plus 207. Though we've got to watch out. Jeremy's closing in on their heels at plus 180 with 2 games to go, and the Steelers need to win on point advantage to make it into the playoffs. But more on that later. Deep shot by Oscar, still off the mark. We talked about in the pregame, Venti's in at the top of the Kings offense, but dribbling it into a turnover. So Xiao Sui, who's a great candidate for most improved player, causes that turnover, number 11 with the Lioneers, though. Tough competition, as number 21 of the Braves, Zheng Xiangjun, has also made some leaps and bounds. Anthony Bennett, a quick catch and shoot, and there's some offense back in the Lioneer side.
That was a quick turn and shoot on the three-pointer by Anthony Bennett. I don't think anybody was expecting that shot.
He's got quite a quick release, as obviously not in his career scouting report, but he's really worked on that and made it a big thing of his Plus League career, as Quincy Davis answers right back. Oh, Q getting a long stint in the first quarter. He's trying to check AB now. But they cough it up at Zheng Hao to Venti. Manigault will try to get a 3. Lioneers rebound and go the other way quick, as Iboka at least gets a foul on the trip. The pace of the game is something that favors the Kings in this season series. They score the most fast break points against the Lioneers at 17.2, whereas their average of 13.2 does still lead the Plus League. Substitutions for both teams going on as Iboka gets ready for a couple free throws. There's Quincy Davis taking his first rest of the game, besides the timeout, of course.
Right. Both teams not afraid tonight to push the ball out on offense and run a little bit.
Well, Tianhao, as mentioned, he's in there after missing 4 games, or about 24 days between game days. Has made some strides in his 3rd season, though, of course, everybody might need to get a little bit of help. Has have an awkward situation with the dropped ball on the free throw. Looks like the referees are going to give Iboka a second chance. They're not going to say some kind of a pitching clock violation.
Yeah.
And he rewards himself with a free throw made. That is a funny thing, because does it technically become a live ball, just like if the pitcher doesn't pick it up on throw back from the catcher or the umpire?
I have no idea. I've never really seen that, so I'm not sure what the rule is on that.
Byron Mullins on the post, had that one deflected by Iboka. Numbers advantage for the Lioneers, as Leon will get to the cup and score. All the Lioneers are doing a pretty good job running now.
Definitely a fast-paced game. Up and down action, and we'll see how long this pace can last between these 2 teams.
The Lioneers do have 12 registered players, as Leon might have been getting away with a generous could-be kickball. Of course, the referees are supposed to judge if the kick helps possession. Incidental, they say, as Manigal challenges Xiao Sun-Yi, scores on him. Tianhao working with Iboka on the ball screen, slips it through as with a 2-handed grab. No, I mean, you can say it's a hard foul, and hit to the head is probably what the referee saw really clearly on the baseline.
It was a nice setup outside, looking for that high pick and roll. He was just waiting for the right moment to get it in. Had a really good pass inside. He had to really thread that needle through that hole in order to get it through.
The last English broadcast was, in fact, the last game between the Pilots and the Braves, and funny enough, Zhenzi University 1st and 2nd year players started in that game, former teammates of Zheng Yuhao. He and Omar, who kind of curious to us, not getting the start of the game. And a couple misses for Iboka.
I'm interested to see how much playing time Omar gets today, especially after you said not starting. And he has started several games in the past due to Byron being out. So you want to keep him fresh. You want to keep him in the action just in case you're going to need him in the playoffs.
Feeling himself, AB misses the quick fire 3 from outside. 24-16. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Xiaoming Chen Junan hands it off to Ling Jingfang as the Kings run their offense. Byron Mullins at the high post. From the corner, Jingfang off with it. Lioneers quickly the other way. Especially making the change to go away from Simbular as their main import. Missed by Leon. Pushing the pace you would think would work in their favor between Anthony Bennett's outside shooting, or at the time Tariqa White, the way he can run a transition offense. Mullins slipped past to Yuhao, can't finish through the defense. And Tianhao trying to be out physical, and Iboka cannot clean it up on the backside.
The Kings are still pushing the ball. They almost caught the Lioneers with just Bennett being back. Luckily, they mishandled the pass.
But Byron Mullins finally gets it going from deep range. Now under a minute to go. Bennett with another 3, this time 4 bounces and out. As mentioned, Lioneers going without William Martino, who's been a mainstay with them ever since the registration deadline. Yuhao not missing that time on the nice dime by Venti.
Lioneers just had a lot of space in that defense on that play, and he was able to find that gap. Had a really nice pass from Venti for the layup.
Tian Hao trying to play the time, it seems, will miss the three, giving the Kings a last shot opportunity with about 13 seconds left. Now 5, it's Byron Mullins who gets contact and the bucket. Didn't expect that even to have a chance, but put the right spin on it, got the right bounce, and Byron Mullins have an and one opportunity, get in the look, beating Iboka close to the rim. Again, working with Venti, who's really come alive here after we mentioned he joined the Kings a little later last season. He joined the Kings training camp a little late this season, but playing a big role, especially without number 9 Lee Kai-yin out, who's been dealing all year with a foot injury. Missed free throw as Xiao Sui gives it a heave, but just catches the backboard, and that'll be it for the first quarter with the Kings, number 1 seeded team in the regular season, in a tune-up game series against the Lioneers. We'll go to break, back after this.
随时可能会被照到，大家可以准备一下，梳妆打扮一下啊。Hello, welcome to the stadium. 跟着我们的敏哥比个1，跟着我们敏哥比个1，这是我们刚刚的大胃王挑战赛的冠军，跟着我们空中比个1，第1名的感觉。Let's go！ 哎，我们再一次要 ，You did a good job， nice。哎呦，这样才对吗？才是我们新美光的球迷们嘛！来，跟着敏哥比个1，象征新美光例行赛第1名，也象征合作伙伴 Japan 虚拟货币交易所领先未来，领先世界。比个1，比个1，这个是凯燕的板板吗 ？Hello，nice。有的吃，有的看，也会上大荧幕。哎呦，这专业的哦，专业的哦。这个是警政局的伙伴，对不对？就说了，今天是最安全的主场。1号 One of One。我们小朋友比个1吗？有办法让小朋友比个1吗 ？Hello， 欢迎来到新庄体育馆。
Light it up for the last regular season weeknight game of the Plus League. Of course, when we head into the playoffs, there'll be plenty of weeknight games as we really get into the heart of the competition to determine the champion of the Plus League, who will also have the honor of representing the Plus League and Taiwan in the East Asia Super League. After this year, having the competition shortened to a 2-game championship week appearance. It was a fast-paced game in the first half, and the Lioneers couldn't really string together some of those open jump shots from the outside. They have Jiang Guangchen, number 2, in there, as Evan Lee Jiaorui gets the scoring started with a deep 3.
It's nice to see him come out and hit his first shot of the game and get the Lioneers within 12.
It was a matchup in last year's first round playoff between these two teams, but the Lioneers number 1, the Kings number 4, as Yuhao slips behind, misses the first one, and softly drops in the second one. Definitely feels like one of those games because Venti had the nice pass, but won't get credit for the assist. But I don't think Coach Marchand and the staff care that much as Guo Shaojie tried to avoid Byron Mullins, but threw it up too high. The other way they go. Mullen screening Venti, getting to the cup to Xiaoming. Driving and stepping, but he'll be called for the travel.
You know, not having number 9 Kyle today is enabled Venti to come out and get a little bit more playing time, and he is really looking for that open man. He's driving to the basket, looking for that high pick and roll. He's doing everything that he needs to do.
And not a bad move by Xiaoming. Just got to clean up the footwork as Evan can't make it 2 in a row. The confidence of number 12 is always a big question for the Lioneers in their fan discussions, and I'm sure with their coaching staff, kind of nickname Mr. Irrelevant in some ways for his performance in blowout games as Mullins, this time over the top from Venti. That's the first time we've seen that over the top pass this game. He's threaded a lot of bounce passes previously. Tyler not looking to shoot. They're going to run the offense as Jiang Guangqian puts it up. A little too strong, and Byron Mullins tracks it down. He leads the league in rebounds per game at 16.0. Pretty safe to say he's got that title as a front runner. Had that one tipped by Tyler, who's checked by Venti down low, but Oscar doesn't realize of the Jiang Guangqian. And there's another board for number 5.
Yeah, the Lioneers are just struggling on the boards. They're going to have to go in there and crash him and box their men out.
Another turnover around the half court as Venti smacks it away. A little bit of sloppy basketball going on right now.
Both teams seem to be struggling right now, so we need to find somebody that can get them out of this and start hitting some shots or some layups or make some good passes just to get that momentum back on their side.
Something that the King staff want to clean up. Already 5 turnovers in the early goings as pretty good move by Hsinchu, but he'll be called for the offensive foul, getting his elbows in the wrong place. Again, we can give credit for a good try, but need to clean up the mechanics just a little bit, as they say he violates the cylinder of Guo Shaojie, who sacrificed his good looks there to get the possession.
Yeah, it came across with that high elbow to get position.
That's one of those times where maybe a changeup of pace is really important to let the defender fly by.
Right.
I mean, there's so many nuances to playing any sport. That seems to be one of them. Evan left open again. Try a little low with it.
At times, just being able to read the defense and see if they're overplaying you, just let them continue, and like you said, just pass right by you, then you have a little bit of open shot.
Now it's Lin Jingbang crashing to Guo Shaojie. Jarring the basketball loose. Lioneers trying to make it to 20 points as Oscar swishes it. He does have one of the best jump shots of the Lioneers, and it's really showed off in this 3rd season as now the Kings want to address the troops, and they call a timeout. We're here in game 115, a postponed game ongoing between the Kings and Lioneers. Back after these messages.
3楼的朋友也是可以要要看的，我们 Jerry 的臂力是非常好的，可以哦，这位球员非常积极，等一下我们就可以吃我们的小美冰淇淋。来，我们另一边的朋友有没有想要玩的？那接到我们球的朋友呢，麻烦你们呢至商品部集合，麻烦你们至商品部集合。
Plus League line stickers are available at the Plus League online for a limited time, I think all the way till June 8th for this limited time crossover event between the Plus League and Line. Substitutions for both teams as Jeremy Tyler and Quincy Davis in for their respective teams. There's Coach Caminos in-house to take in the basketball game, as the Pilots only have one game remaining in their regular season on Saturday down in Kaohsiung, having last played on this past Sunday against the Braves, as we mentioned. Tuning up for a playoff run after missing it last season as the last place team in the Plus League. Nice slip pass, and Byron Mullins fouled by Lee Jia-rui, who give him credit for coming over to help, but a little bit too easy with the pick and rolls right now. The Kings are getting whatever they want.
Yeah, the Lioneers are just a little bit out of position on those, and they're not really communicating and getting back on the help side. Evan was a little bit slow, and then he went up and actually tried to go one-on-one with him on the defensive block.
Mullins dropping his first free throw made of the game. Previously missed that and one opportunity. Back to a 15-point lead. Close to the starting lineup with Jiang Guangqian in there for Zhen Boyu. It's Tyler spinning again, but blocked between Quincy Davis and Byron Mullins. There's not a lot of space there.
No, there was not a lot of space at all with those two. And Bennett was right there also, so he really had three people that he was working against.
This time Byron Mullins was fouled, but Jeremy Tyler, having some frustration, is going to be called for the tee before the Lioneers can even get started on offense.
He's been struggling all night and wanting some calls that he hasn't received, and so I think that was the final straw to it. He wanted the refs to know that he was not happy with that non-call.
So they did call the foul on Ling Jingbang. Although I'm sure on the Lioneer side, they wish it would have been a quicker whistle.
Quicker, and he felt like he got fouled down on the offensive end by either Quincy or Byron, one of the two.
Byron Mullins, probably for rhythm, allowed to take the technical free throw. He'll go back down the court and check Tyler. Number 7, Xiaoli Lingliren is in there. Had a relative standout performance against the Dreamers. Deflected ball as Oscar takes advantage, but leaves the floater short. Tyler trying to go with power, but loses the handles of it. Quincy Davis leaking out. He'll get the two-handed slam. The momentum right back to the Kings side.
You can always bet on Quincy getting at least 2 or 3 dunks like that during the game.
Byron Mullins comes crashing down, and kind of an excuse me foul for Anthony Bennett there. Unfortunate sequence, but right now it's the Kings who are really good with their hands right now. They do cause the most turnovers against the Lioneers, which is something that Coach Greg is probably mindful. 20.5 turnovers per game, Lioneers against the Kings. They're most in their head-to-head. Their Lioneer season average is 17.
Yeah, when you have that many turnovers, it's hard to win a game. So you really got to cut down on those and play smart offensively. But the Kings are quick. They are quick with their hands, and so they will cause a lot of turnovers with those effective reach attempts.
Mullins rises and hits above Iboka. This is one of those slow developing plays, but Byron Mullins, listed at only 7 feet tall, he looks much taller than that. It's a problem for any team.
He does have that long wingspan as well. Not as long as Quincy's, but it's pretty long.
Joker's back in the game, trying to drive on the other number 7. Forced into a miss, and here come the Kings. They're doing a great job pushing the ball up to the corners. Joseph Flynn, no good with his 3 attempt.
As they push the ball up, they're able to see whether or not they have the numbers, and if not, they're pulling it back and set the offense up. So they're playing smart. That's something they really want to do as they're preparing for the playoffs.
Oscar and Joseph driving down, knocking down the jumper above number 1. Try to float it up there, got his own board, the fresh 14. Choosing not to get the pocket 3, it's Lioneers who will try to drive. Early scoop layup. All the Kings seem a little bit too generous there as Anthony Bennett takes the contact, but he'll have to earn it from the line.
He was going all the way with that. He was not going to stop. Oscar was open in the short corner, but he would think he wanted to dunk, but he wasn't able to elevate quite like he wanted to.
Ling Jinbang holding his ground, but will head toward the bench now with Mullins. This is one of the small lineups for the Kings that they really like to run, with Kenny Manigault playing power forward, Quincy Davis at the 5.
It's a small lineup, but can be really quick, so you have to be aware. Even with Quincy in there, Quincy can move up and down that floor.
Especially with Kenny Manigault doing his best Revis Island impersonation. 3.6 steals per game leads the Plus League. Sometimes he can, like Revis, cut up a whole side as a tip ball and a foul, they say. Anthony Bennett and Amigo kind of tied up together and won't go the Kings' way this time. As Anthony Bennett also one of the league leaders in steals too, but there you see the right call by the referees. Amigo trying to avoid the eyes, and a second consecutive foul by the Kings as the long arms of Davis in the mix there.
A couple of fans right here in front of Anthony on that attempt that got a little scare.
Here's the Ibaka screening and Q. One of the times those long arms don't pay off.
That is true.
So Bennett clean with the first free throw. Anthony Bennett, also one of the league leaders, if he was eligible, though he has right now too few games played. 23 points per game is good enough for 3rd in the league. Doesn't feel like it, but he also is number 1 in league in minutes played at 40 per game.
Wow.
Getting the double screen, Joseph back to Manigault with Oscar guarding him. Jabs right, has it poked. So a little push pass to Q, in and out.
Anthony likes to run the floor also with the ball. He likes to be the point guard every once in a while out there and control the flow of the game.
Joker catching and shooting on the nice pass from Evan. One of the rare times that the Lioneers really set up something really easy and get a really easy look out of it. Kings caught sleeping a little bit as there another timeout on the floor, looks like called by the Kings as we get another look at Oscar taking on Joseph. Those two guys now playing against each other for 3 straight years, and on the other side, Zemburi, of course, with those unconventional footwork on the jumpers, but making it work. As we listen into the Lioneers timeout.
Why AB is the most hustle guy? 你们冷静下来思考一下，为什么他是最认真的？他在顶浪，他在抄球，他在顶，然后我们本土松松的，一路摆着不想打，人家对方已经很松了，然后我们比他还松。他现在做 double dribble 这一个，他现在做 double dribble Manigault Q 可以吗？嘉瑞，他走直接冲出来把他赶回去了，就 switch， 所以 O 就直接顶住了。他换回来的时候再顶回来，再换回来就好了，这样可以吗？
Coach Greg with some stern words to the team, wondering, well, how come the rest of the guys aren't playing without as much urgency as Anthony Bennett out there. As you mentioned, AB, right now the lone import on the floor, guarding the back line on the defense and also helping to push the pace a lot. Joseph brings it up the timeline, working into the mid-range. The Lioneers have switches in a lot of spots. Now they recover. Kind of jammed up on the side. Joseph goes toward the middle. His jumper is wet.
That's one thing with Joseph is you don't know if he's going to go up with the right hand or the left hand on some of them shots, and that it's hard to guard. Down that one, he went up with the actual right hand and made that shot.
There are times he jump shoots with either hand, though he does prefer the right-handed floater. Iboka stopped on one end and could not stop Kenny Manigault with another slice to the basket.
They're giving him that regular drive, and he is going to continue to take it. Somebody's going to have to get in front of him and stop him, or help side defense is going to have to step up.
This time an offensive foul as Anthony Bennett kind of got a push off against Q. Get another look, but I guess the point against Quincy Davis is he had his back turned to the offensive player, though Anthony Bennett did a little bit too much already with the advantage on his side.
He wanted to give him that extra push out of the way.
Trying to go off backboard. Another miss for Joseph from the outside, who is a 32% three-point shooter on the season. But that's only good enough for 5th on the team, as Oscar slicing and dicing, shaking and baking for the beautiful jump shot made.
He does have a pretty jump shot, and that was a nice little fake to get the man off of him a little bit, get that space that he needed.
And they followed up with a stop. As you see, former teammates, the leader and the Lioneer of the inaugural team, crossed up just a little bit. He did a decent job to stay with Oscar, a much more nimble, much less experienced guard.
And the Kings are back in with their starting 5.
Good call.
As you said, they probably bring him in at late second quarter, get him playing again.
Now Bennett from the outside, short with it. Again, Byron Mullins, good demonstration of good ball control on these rebounds. Not giving it up as Amigo slips it to Davis. Great patience on that play by the two veterans.
Yeah, he drew the defense towards him with that little shot fake, and it had Quincy on the cut through.
Iboka and Zambori, a quick handoff. They look the other way. Now down to Iboka with Byron Mullins giving him a step. Evan pops free. He tries, banks it home. Didn't realize the bank stays open this late.
Yeah, it was a little hard on the touch, but luckily he was straight on, able to get the bank shot in. Wonder if he called it.
Wonder if he called it. Dumb Warrior playing Joseph hard, though. A little bit unlucky. Will be called for the foul, sending the Kings to the line.
Sometimes it's hard to determine how much hands are they going to allow with the guards play up there. Had a little bit of hand on the back, but not anything that we haven't seen before that hasn't been called.
Gave him the soft touch, Joseph Lin. Now with 3 points on his game. Already 3 Kings in double digits between Mullins, Davis, and Manigault. Well, this one bounces out. On the Lioneer side, they'd have Oscar with 11 points as Kenny pokes it out of bounds. Having a little laugh with the trail official here. And it looks like Coach Greg wants to use this last timeout, see what they can do in 1 minute 26 seconds. Of course, the score in the game, kind of just a formality. The big thing for the Lioneers this year, when you look at their season recap, is they've never had in baseball what is so-called a one-game loss stop job, or losing trend, stopping the losing trend as we get into the Kings timeout.
这一边是 O， 这一边是 Sunny， 这一边是 Evan， 这一边是 AB。OK watch， 所以他2、3会这样站，可以吗？所以他这边抄2，所以第一个 AB go here screen， 2个进来 screen O 出来，这样可以把 fall down。所以当 O 这边出来的时候，这边有一个5号位 AB 会在这里，所以 Sunny 再进来推挤着 Mullins， 所以 when you go screen on wheel on O and then you come back, he will make a seal on Mullins， 所以这边会 open， 这样可以吗 ？Let's go。那没有的时候，嘉瑞这边跳出来把球接到。
Now, Coach Greg, famous for loving to use timeouts in late in half or late in game situations to get the most practice he can. Of course, he would always remind us he has a relatively young team, and if not a young team, certainly a team that's played together not as much time as especially the older teams in the Braves and the Dreamers, even the Pilots. Oscar with an open look for 3, a little too easy on the leading scorer for the Lioneers.
With the flow of this game, you would think that the Lioneers would be down by a lot, but they've only down by 12, so they are definitely within reach of the Kings. Just a couple stops and they'll be right there.
A little right-left crossover from Joseph Lin. Not knocked down the 3 so good, but he's been really good and really deadly from the mid-range. Now Tian Hao starting the offense. AB comes up the screen. Oscar kind of tried to spin a pass to Evan. Already banked one in, but this time it swirls out.
You know, in football, we call that a broken play, and I felt like that was a broken play right there. They just sort of went with the flow after a couple bad passes, and they weren't able to.
Kind of a broken play for the Kings, but Joseph Lin pops free. Would have been a nice assist for Byron Mullins. Now numbers for the Lioneers as Xiao Sui gets to the other side of the bucket and scores.
That was a nice play. I think with that pass, he was looking off Byron to go to the cutter on the baseline. And so Byron expected him to go there. Instead, he went behind Byron. It was a good look. Good play.
Well, there's a foul, so again, we mentioned the final score and the wins and losses don't matter in the standings, but maybe not necessarily the worst thing for the Lioneers. Drop a full court 7-second play. And the Kings will respond by bringing Ling Jingbang, though it looks like we have a little bit of a score table and referee disagreement about Kenny Manigault getting ready for this free throws. Made a free throw by Kenny Manigault. Number 55 has played in 30 games this season. This is his 31st. And a second made bucket. Quickly down the floor, Oscar picked up the dribble, had to force one up on Joseph and got it to go. Time runs out as number 4 has a little personal run of his own, and will send the two teams to halftime with the number 1 Kings up 53-41. But the Lioneers closing the gap. We're here in Hsinchu on a Tuesday night. It's halftime. We'll be breaking things down in a moment.
我们请4位球迷呢来到我们的中央。稍等，我们的工作人员安排布置一下现场哦。你们都知道游戏规则吗？好，游戏规则很简单， 我们等下2两一组，我们要吃完一个小美冰淇淋，然后呢，你就可以拿你的球去各自的地方做上篮。投进之后呢，在中间呢举起我们大圣冰淇淋，就算挑战成功 ，OK 吗？2个人一组，你们是对手，你们会是对手。那就请两位先。那弟弟，等一下你看一下，你们等一下看一下就知道怎么玩，好吗 ？OK 吗？来哦，先吃了我们小美冰淇淋，然后我们工作人员会把球给你，好不好？那准备哦，3、2、1之后就开始哦。3、2、1。那个吃太快头会有点痛啊，但是没问题，我们小美冰淇淋，好不好？能够在篮球场上吃冰的机会也不多啊。可以看出，有些人是来享受，有些人是来比赛的，好不好？游刃有余啊！看一下左边的朋友，发现那个速度不同的速度，可以跟我们拿球了，没问题了。还有时间把手擦干净。那我们另外一位朋友呢，可以慢慢来，你应该是没什么机会了。哎，不一定，他上篮好像也没有很好。OK， 到我们中间呢，举起我们大圣冰淇淋。哎，举起来，我们往另外一边看一下镜头。哎，那你就是我们第一组的冠军，稍后在我们后面一下。那我们另外一位朋友，冰淇淋可以拿后面慢慢吃，好不好？弟弟，知道规则吗？了解。你有吃过小美冰淇淋吗？你有吃过？你应该有吃过吧 ？OK 吧？
A little ice cream eating contest out on the floor here in Xinzhuang, home of the #1 New Taipei Kings on the basketball season. On the Mandarin broadcast, it's James Maojian commentating with our colleague Eddie Zhang Yaozong. If you're interested in that, of course, watch the Mandarin broadcast. Breaking things down from the first half where the Kings had the lead, the biggest thing to note is Coach Marchand seems to maybe think of this game as 4 separate instances of trying to put on his best lineup between the starters of Joseph Flynn, Byron Mullins, Amigo, Quincy Davis, and Kenny Manigault. Start the game or start the half off, and then maybe in the last 2-minute situation, put them out there again, try to work their magic. But on the Lioneers side, of course, besides Oscar Gogglehall, they're trying to look for other local players to step up and see who wants to earn those rotation minutes next season.
Yeah, they're looking for those players that they know that they can count on for next season, and so you know the Lioneers are wanting to finish strong, but yet, like we said, look for the future and see what they'll have for next year. Because at this point, we don't know what imports they're going to be bringing in, and so it's important for them to have an idea of what they have here locally.
One thing they are not doing good enough on the defensive end between pretty much 2 items. One is the Kings high pick and roll, especially with Byron Mullins rolling to the basket. Whether it's a bounce pass between the 2 defenders or if it's sometimes over the top, the Kings have been able to score, especially inside with ease. But otherwise, it's dribble penetration. For example, Kenny Manigault has gotten to the basket pretty easily without that first defender to stop him or without help defense on the back end. Defense has got to be a big thing for the Lioneers heading toward the future.
Yeah, the Lioneers are going to have to start communicating a little better. They're going to have to rotate on defense, especially on that help side, and hit those boards. On the offensive side, they're just not really hitting the boards after their shots, and so you know, they're going to have to really put together a good second half in order to cut into this deficit that they have.
Now on the Kings side, in the last game on Saturday against the Dreamers, they started off the first half really poorly, having as big as a 28-point deficit. Of course, the Dreamers in a very hot playoff race against the Steelers. Maybe playing is not the same, but overall you would think the players who made it on the floor have, you could say, at least passed the eye test in the first half of taking the game seriously and running their plays and being disciplined for the most part.
Yeah, you know, I think that's something that they want to focus on, is still maintain that focus in the game, still maintain their game plan so that they can go into the playoffs, you know, on a hot streak, and they don't want to go in on a losing streak, especially coming in losing to the Lioneers on the last 2 possible games that they have in this season.
As opposed to last season where the Kings were the first team to clinch, it's been the same case this year, but they've been able to manage their, say, playing form much better to, in fact, take the #1 seed, whereas last year they let the Lioneers, the Braves, and even the Dreamers leapfrog them. So it's right now, at least looking from the onset, that the Kings are really well prepared for a deep playoff run in this season, having home court advantage from beginning to end.
Yeah, I think that they set themselves up well, and even with the missing of Byron for several games, that they've had the other players step up, and those other players, they're going to have to rely on them during the playoffs as well. And so it's been like an all-around, overall good effort by the team. Not where they've had to focus on just a couple, but they've actually got some players in there that might not have been playing if not for the injury. So yeah, I think they're ready. They're ready, and they should have a good showing.
Now it'll be interesting to see what kind of crowds they can gather here in Hsinchu, as they've had their struggles and of course have this weeknight game to go, but maybe in the playoffs they'll get even more support. Though we will say the regular season going from 15 home games to 20 home games, maybe bring more eyeballs onto the team, and maybe they'll be ready to go for the playoffs and hopefully really rock things here. As last year, eliminated in Game 5 on the road, is now something that they won't have to face if they can force a winner-take-all game in the future.
Yeah, let's hope that when the playoffs start, that the fans come out and really support them and get behind them and are here for every game. And that's something it's nice for a player when you know that the fans are behind you and supporting you and cheering you on. That sort of motivates you to play a little bit better.
All right, we'll be going to another break, about 6.5 minutes to the start of the second half.
Alright.
about you, where I saw something I just had to have. My mind told me I should proceed with caution, but my heart said go ahead and make a bid on that. And I said, hey pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I'd give anything to make you mine on mine. I'll be your bidding and be at your beck and call. Yeah, I've never seen anyone looking so fine. Man, I gotta have her, she's a one of a kind. I'm going once, going twice. I'm sold on the lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10, I know. She's got ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm about to bid my heart goodbye.
Thanks for tuning into this broadcast of Plus League Basketball. Game 115 of 120, the third game in the regular season that's kind of been maneuvered around, the first two due to COVID. And this game in a scheduling agreement with the other team of New Taipei of the other basketball league. There's the combined team statistics there on screen where the Kings have a 12-point lead. They've been shooting the basketball better, and one particular thing that really stands out is they're not settling for the three-pointer. They've missed some, and they've had a lot of success, as we mentioned, with their pick and rolls and dribble penetration. Meanwhile, the Lioneers have settled for the three-pointer, 5 of 20. And those long rebounds, unless you grab them yourself, they're leading to advantages for the Kings to run on the fast break. Now we bring you the leading scorers, whereas, as mentioned, Oscar Gogolhal leads the team with 16 points and is in fact tied with the lead of the game. And 9 Lioneers have scored, which is the good news, but the bad news is they find themselves down in the ball game, needing a better defensive effort. And on the King side, Byron Mullins 16, Quincy Davis getting the start, 14 points, Kenny Manigault 12 points with relative ease, Joseph Lynn 5 points, and even Zingerhall coming off the bench with 4 points of action. The Kings, before they got to shooting, had a little bit of a huddle. Probably want to make sure they stay sharp and finish this game off right, and of course, avoid any unnecessary mistakes. One last break before the start of the second half.
Kill it, watch out, I spit it on the mic, feel it. Y'all can't do what I do, just admit it. I'm about to get it, money, money, get it. Drop it to the floor, shake my big bitties, bopping like Diddy. My face look pretty, y'all ain't doing shit new, I done did it. Cause I'm marvelous, fantabulous, a bad chick. The flow sick like oh shit, you know this, I'm too fit to ever quit. Knocking these fools out like pool sticks. I do this, I move this, I prove this. Bars beat hard like a pound of bricks. It go up, jump to boogie to the bang, bang, high. This the kind of beat to go rat-ta-ta. This the kind of beat to go rat-ta-ta. So me shit me pom pom. Me a leader, so me don't follow. Missy Elliott, that's who I are. Back it up, kiss it, I'm it. Super duper fly, hee 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 ha. Why do people want you put your hands up, I? Put your hands up, I. Put your hands up, I. Put your hands up, I. Why do people put your hands up, I? Hands up, I. This the kind of beat to go rat tat tat tat. This the kind of beat to go rat tat. This the kind of beat to go rat tat tat. This the kind of beat to go rat tat tat. This the kind of beat to go rat tat tat. Square rings. It's Missy E and DJ Square Rings. Yeah, this shit so hot you with it. Yeah.
今天是我生日，祝你生日快乐哦！来到球场过生日，感觉不一般啊 ！Happy birthday to you！
A little happy birthday to that fan in attendance sitting on the first level. Other festivities coming up soon enough is Mother's Day weekend. What a way to finish off our basketball season. Kings start off with possession. Amigo, a quick three, and don't say it often, but an air ball by number 6. We'll talk about the need to focus. The last game against the Dreamers, as mentioned, they were down by the Kings were down by as much as 28. AB, big pass, then block. No, they say a whistle. A disagreement of Byron Mullins. There'll be free throws for the Lioneers. Well, in the fourth quarter, making a big run as you get a look at what the baseline cameraman saw. Xiao Li had 10 points in the fourth quarter, a real standout, but only 5 of 12 from the free throw line. It really cost them the game. Anthony Bennett too strong with the first free throw. The Kings get 5 3-pointers in that final frame. Caused 8 turnovers by the Dreamers is encouraging. Quincy Davis eventually finding the basketball. That was a big game as it pushed the Dreamers' clinching number down to M1. So if the Steelers lost in the evening game, which they did not, or any one of these 2 upcoming games, the Dreamers will be in the playoffs, or of course, they have that head-to-head on Sunday. Finally, Amigo tries to take the shot, and this time from long 2, buries it.
He was just trying to find his range on that first shot. You know that he wasn't going to airball 2 shots in a row.
I'll hold you to that next season.
Hopefully.
Tyler off to the left, and he'll bounce harmlessly out of bounds. From the first half of the game, Jeremy Tyler, according to the online box score, only with 11 minutes played as a knockdown 3 by number 1. I haven't said his name much, but now he's got 8 points on the game.
Yeah, he and Amigo have been a little bit silent on the scoring end. Joseph has been able to drive and gets a couple assists, but Amigo has been silent. So hopefully we'll see a little more increased offensive scoring from those 2 on this third quarter.
Looks like a step out of bounds. Now Anthony Bennett on the other side, for example, only 1 for 5, but all shooting 3s. Though he does have 6 free throws on the game to go with 8 rebounds, which leads the team. So kind of doing it only in a one-dimensional way, offensively. But of course, as Coach Greg pointed out, is doing a good job in the hustle department. Tianhao will put it up, get his own board back. The Kings defense in the scramble has a nice find by Anthony Bennett down to Xiao Sun-yi.
That was a nice look. Started off with a nice pass into him, and then him look for that no-look bounce pass underneath the basket.
Kind of taking advantage of leverage. Joseph will get a foul out of Tianhao, who started that sequence, the hockey pass, you could say, floating it up there, and Xiao Sun-yi, an appropriate guy in the dunker spot, slides right in there.
In the previous possession of the Kings, you saw how versatile Joseph is. We hit a 3, and then he came back and drove in for the 2. That's what he offers this team. And now we have a foul on Quincy.
Some of the protests of the home fans called it unsportsmanlike by the rule book, against the body and not against the basketball.
Got him for holding the arm a little too much.
Byron Mullins has got his arm around his fellow teammate as he's trying to make the argument with the referee who make the call. Xiao Sui sent to the line, missed his first, but makes the adjustment. Now keep a note of that, as your regular season specialty fouls do carry over to the playoffs. And on the season, Quincy Davis, 1 unsportsmanlike, 3 technicals, so 4 away from an automatic 1-game suspension, as Oscar will fire away halfway down and out. Another offensive board by AB, and another whistle against the Kings. So that prep talk did not seem to do very much to start this second half off.
No, it didn't, but it seems like it sparked the Lioneers. They're actually hitting the boards and looking for some good passes, keeping those eyes open, and seems like the roles have reversed, and where the Kings seem to be a little bit flat-footed now on the defensive side.
One interesting note, of course, they're starting their starters again, but maybe they could use a little bit of a kick to the rear end to get going. They still have the lead, 58-47. Joseph guarded by Xiao Sui, who's typically checking the bigs. Manigault had them disrupted and overshoots the putback. Lioneers on the run. Xiao Sui missing the dunk. Having a hard time now taking inventory on the baseline. Still recovering. Kenny Manigault shows him how it's done. Goes to the rack.
Kenny wanted to come down and show him exactly how to do that dunk right there. I don't think he had a good grip on it when he went up, and he wasn't able to keep it. He lost it subsequently on the way up.
Rebound by Quincy Davis as the Kings will get into their secondary break, but tripped up. Trying to cut between a couple Lioneers.
I'd have had a little assistance from the back.
Made basket by the Lioneers in transition.
11-point lead by the Kings.
Down to Kenny Manigault with mean intentions, but maybe a little step farther from the cup that he needed to be. Pulls it down the other way. Xiao Sui with a foot on the line. Not the most optimal shot, but AB, another board, another 3. This time Q hangs on to it. Little 2-on-1 as Joseph will deke him into the open lay-in. Lioneers have Joker Zembori ready to come into the game, though, maybe to break up the rhythm.
That was a nice, smart play by Joseph, knowing that he had Byron over there if he needed to give the little pass, but the defender just let him go through, and he went ahead and made the left-handed layup.
A smack by Byron Mullins on AB's attempt from close. Numbers for the Kings as Amigo gets another layup, and Coach Greg, 33 seconds from TV timeout territory, electing to call one himself, as right now the hustle from the Lioneers is lacking after some Kings stops. It's our first break of the second half as Lioneers and Kings battle it out on a Tuesday night.
我们要把海报给刚刚是哪一位生日的朋友，生日快乐！哎，这样比吗？生日快乐，生日快乐！
My PLG merch available on the Plus League website, pleagueofficial.com/shop. T-shirts, hats, towels, pins, and more. And be on the lookout for a playoff edition merchandise coming your way. We'll before we went to break, it's the Hsinchu Lioneers electing to call a timeout as the Kings were getting stops on one end, and we're running the floor on the other end. The Lioneers might have 12 active on their roster, but between Xiao Sui, Tian Hao, and even Oscar kind of recovering from illness, they're a team that's not exactly right now at full strength, obviously from the morale standpoint, but even from a health standpoint. So number one team in the league taking advantage appropriately.
Yeah, it's hard to come back when you have illness and missing all your team to be able to give your all. And so they're short on subs, and so everybody's going to have to really play hard and play above and beyond what they're normally used to playing.
An ATO for Oscar to get a baseline jumper. Amigo cutting. Tyler initially deflected it, but Quincy Davis tried to get the one-handed putback.
The Lioneers looking to push it up.
Evan vacated the corner. Now a wild pass as Oscar leaves it for AB, but kind of stuck down low. There will be a foul, though. Both Quincy Davis and Mullins trying to go after the crew chief about something in the corner. As you look again, there's the reach. Sir, most of the time the players will admit they do commit fouls, but they want the other team fouled on the other side. As now in a little bit of trouble, Byron Mullins earns himself a technical. And without a sub ready to come in, he finds himself leaving the floor.
He just felt like it was better to walk off and not continue to say anything, which was probably a smart idea in that case. One thing you want to do, though, is when you're heading into the playoff like this, is keep your heads and don't do anything silly that could get you in trouble to start the playoffs. And so the Kings are going to have to continue to play smart and not do anything that could risk losing a player or two for the beginning of the playoffs.
Anthony Bennett at the line, having already shot the technical free throws, as Byron Mullins now maybe in a little bit of a looser mood. According to the rule book, now that he's on the bench, he cannot earn any personal technical fouls, but he can earn bench technical fouls on the Kings side. So probably want to watch what you say, because that's still within the jurisdiction of the league to fine you if anything very demolishingly inappropriate is said.
Right. I don't think he was arguing the foul. I think he was arguing that the player was out of bounds over here on the end. And so you got to pick and choose what you're going to be upset about and get those technicals over.
Dembouri again playing aggressive, but a little bit too much of hands going on. Second Lioneers team foul as Joseph kind of dribbled into Jeremy Tyler, and up ahead Dembouri trying to finish, but Quincy Davis there for the help.
Yeah, he definitely changed the shot because he knew Quincy was coming up behind him.
Migo with an open corner three. He doesn't miss this time. And just like that, it's kind of a 5-point swing.
Migo starts to get hot. That's the Lioneers are going to be in trouble, because he can look for a shot. He can produce a shot if he wants to.
Kenny Manuel comes away with it as they deflect the Lioneers pass. Manuel faced up by Evan, as can't be on the same page. Connection to the baseline, but running out of bounds the other way as Oscar delivered a little bit wayward.
It was a good look, but just a little bit too hard, which caused Evan to go outside, to go out of bounds. Step on that line.
Another look.
Got it with the right foot right there.
Migo, a little triple threat up to Joseph, down low to Urhal, but the Lioneers now causing all kinds of trouble on those inside passes as AB flies in with a score. On the note about specialty foul accumulations, as Evan uses too much hands on the stop, your 8th one will cause a 1-game suspension, but your 9th one doesn't accumulate to anything, but your 10th one start accumulating another game suspension and a big fine.
Okay.
So in some ways, you could say you could game the system, but you're still in the dangerous territory as Amigo lets it fly and scores. Kings with a 14-point lead as Joker makes his move. To Evan in the corner, he gets it right back. And Amigo a little bit frustrated with his own defense there.
Yeah.
Now he cuts, fakes Evan in the air, but meets AB, so they swing it around. An open Kenny Manigault. He rails it.
It's nice ball movement right there. Joseph not taking that first look and swinging it to an open Kenny Manigault for the shot.
Down to Jeremy Tyler. He hasn't had many touches in the second half. Spinning, then firing off a pass as Evan hit one. Can't make it 2 in a row. So Amigo, this time from center field, he got it.
And just like that, he's at 15 points. Amigo is one of those guys that he can come into a quarter with 3 and out and finish the quarter with 18 or 21. He just, especially when he starts to get hot.
A foul first. Hall was pushing AB in the back. But Amigo on the season, 33 percentage points from 3-point land is not anything crazy. But thankfully for him, he has 4 teammates with higher percentages, including Byron Mullins at 37%. But leading the team is actually Venti at 40.6, which is 6th in the league. And there he comes in for Manigault as the Kings right now going a little smaller. Q at the 5, Urhal at the 4, Amigo at the 3, Joseph and Venti, dual point guards out there.
One thing about Amigo, though, is when he gets in a streak, he can hit 3 or 4 in a row. And, you know, of course, he gets out of that streak, and he may miss 3 to 4 in a row. But once he's on, he is really on.
Joseph Lynn trying to jump in on the party. Wayward with his 3 as the Lioneers get a setup in the half court. Going down on the floor and coughing it up. This time it's Joseph Lynn who can't run down the outlet pass. But the veterans of Amigo and Quincy Davis right now in a little bit of a staring match, then a conversation as you see AB, the left foot slipped. Now the referee's getting a close eye on the play as you see Quincy Davis firing it up ahead, but sometimes the angle also makes a difference on those thorough ahead passes. Because if you get the angle right, you give your teammate a chance.
Right. Give him a chance to run under and you have a better option, but sometimes you get those passes that are straight, you just don't have the speed to catch up to it. Doesn't matter how fast you are at that point. Lioneers down by 15.
They had Anthony Bennett high post and Tyler in the low post eventually get it to them as you see Hsinchu laid out on the floor there. It's time for the Kings to set up the play right now in horns. Joseph now getting the double screen as they have a mismatch. But from way deep, got a little too hard, and now a lot of spots on the hardwood a little slippery. Urhal could not secure the catch, and it's another Kings turnover. They've been quite sloppy in the third. That was 6 on the quarter as Guo Shaojie, like you mentioned in the pregame, not hesitating when he's open. Venti and Q on the same side as Song Yuxuan steps up. Now Amigo tries the pull-up jumper. Q an easy offensive rebound and another chance for the team in yellow. Still down low and another Kings turnover. Anthony Bennett flying in and hooking it on the rim.
Quincy a little upset over what he thought was a foul down low in that low post just now. Asking the ref, where's the foul?
Now Joseph given the screen assist by Q.
Nice drive by Joseph. Both the bigs struggling on wanting a foul called and they're not getting it. Need to maintain their cool.
Now this Joker with a deep 3.
And like that,
first of the game, as looks like a little bit of a take foul down the floor.
Like that, the Lioneers are down by 10.
Look at that, AB flying from at least a step outside of the restricted area. Looked like that was one he was kind of in between a layup and a dunk, but had enough air to slam it down.
I have dreams like that all the time where I'm going up for a layup and all of a sudden I realize I'm high enough for a dunk and I dunk it. It never happens, but in my dream it does.
I feel like you need to dream more ambitiously since you're already dreaming.
Maybe it's a game-winning dunk, I don't know.
And there's Xiaohei, this time taking it inside. Now they're cutting down the deficit to 8. Lioneers in the fourth quarter, 29-25. Amigo got a step, putting it up. They say there was a push from behind.
Tyler might have got him in the lower back on that drive right there. Just gave him a little push.
It'll be his 4th personal as you see Amigo driving past and a little bit of the hand. Well, it extends all the way, so good job by the officials to see that.
Might not have been full power, but at least he gave him a little, did give him a little shove.
Dan Hall is back on the floor.
Sometimes in the midst of the play, you don't realize how much you're actually pushing a player or extending that arm until you actually see it on the replay.
Amigos made a free throw, means Oscar and Ling Jingbang will come in for their respective teams. A little bit of pressure put on by the Kings.
And the Kings are going small with this lineup.
Running low on time, Oscar flings it with the left hand. That was a decent effort despite it being on the run. And the Lioneers have a solid third quarter as we head to the 4th and final frame. This matchup here on a Tuesday night in the Plus League.
I go deep, so deep till you sleep, count sheep, wake you up from nowhere. You don't want me here to show ya how a freak bitch act when I ain't sober. What up, I'm toe up, show up, ain't scared to
来，我们跟着敏哥一起在天空比一个1，是1，不是2啊，是1啊。Nice， 象征我们例行赛第1名。Hello， 这刚刚我们参加小美冰淇淋的小朋友对吗？ Hello， 哎，没错，我们3位好朋友一起来看比赛，跟着 Amigo 比1。来喽，欢迎你们来新庄体育馆，这一定是专业的球迷。今天你生日，生日一定要来球场过。刚刚我们也把我们的新北国王的海报呢，给我们这一位寿星。 好不好？一定要来新庄体育馆过生日。可以哦，这个节奏感。这是我们的大胃王第1名。那1呢，象征了新北国王例行赛第1名，也象征了我们合作伙伴 Jetpack 虚拟货币交易所领先未来，领先世界。我来看一下你的手机上面，苏伟赞啦 ，OK 哦。
So on the final weekend of the Plus League on Saturday, May 13th, down in Kaohsiung, the third-place Pilots could end the Steelers season with a victory. And in Hsinchu, the same matchup in just 4 days, Kings at Lioneers for their last tune-up before the playoffs. Were the fans in attendance getting to interact with the camp put on by the new Taipei Kings and our broadcast partners at Formosa Television tonight. Iboka's in there along with Anthony Bennett as Tianhao fires away and scores. So now the lead is down to 6. Omar is getting his first stint into the game. Rolling but running into a wall. Manny Galt guarded by Leon has the foul for his efforts on the first defensive possession. Another look at the swipe down on both hands. Manny Galt now with 18 points on the game. There's only 5 Kings who've scored so far. The only sounds in the arena to the away Lioneers fans. But a steal up ahead. Ling Jingbang with 1 man to beat the early layup, and just like that, back-to-back scores for the home team to get settled in here in the 4th.
The Lioneers need to really control that ball and not have a lot of turnovers. It seems as if, though, at times the Lioneers can really get stuck and have consecutive turnovers in possessions.
But a consecutive made 3 by Tianhao.
That's a good look.
You know, on the season, a 30% three-point shooter, which is a little step down from last year's mark of about 32, as AB showing off the dribble move, little 4-on-1 alley up ahead. But Kenny Manigault shows off the vertical. A counter fast break by the Kings, but awkward spacing. As Lin Jingbang will try the corner 2. A little playground, schoolyard play there.
Nice possession right there by the Kings. They were able to work the ball around. Even though it was a little playground move, it was still smart play and under control and a good look.
Guo Shaojie had time to check the wind, but maybe overcompensated. Now Manigault poking it inside and lucky to hang on to possession. Kind of dribbling into a dead corner there.
I think it dribbled it off Jay's leg out. So it's back to the Kings.
Menti working with Omar. As Tianhao being a little naughty with the hand, and they banked in 3. So it works both ways, though. Both times on the visiting hoop,
right?
On the visiting backboard.
Almost the same exact spot both times.
Somebody investigate that. Anthony Bennett trying to squeeze for some position as Leon lets it in. Now Manigault taking Guo Shaojie one-on-one and out-physicaling him to the rack. And just like that, the Lioneers see the deficit balloon up to 14 points. They'll be calling the first time out of the quarter and our first break and last of regulation.
谢谢 Queen 带来的精彩表演，大家不要忘了，我们年度啦啦队的票需要你们的帮忙。
A little 7-0 run by the Kings have forced Coach Greg and the Lioneers to call an early timeout here in the fourth quarter. Now, possibly for all the marbles this Sunday, Dreamers head down to Fengshan Stadium to play the Steelers, possibly for the final playoff spot. And in the Lions' Den is the final rematch of last season's finale as the Braves make their final adjustments for their playoff run against the Lioneers.
Yeah, I wish I could be down there for that Steelers game. I know the Steelers and Dreamers is going to be a good game, and those Steelers fans are going to be out and supporting their team.
A little bit too wild. Iboka throws it out of bounds. Maybe the right idea, but it's almost like every single time he's in there, he throws one of those wild passes into the seats.
Yeah, straight down to his feet instead of to the chest.
Out to Venti, he finds himself free, but that one is halfway down and out.
Almost another turnover there.
As Iboka goes head full of steam, but overshoots it and might have tweaked something on the way down. No look pass, but Omar can't secure it, and another turnover. Sloppy basketball. Tianhao throws it backwards into a turnover, and this little dribbler ground ball to Xiaoming. His first shot is missed. But Omar working with him to get it back as Manigal finally calms the water with that two-pointer layup. And AB right now is winded.
Somebody, okay. Didn't realize he had thrown the ball in.
Oscar down to Iboka on the post as they flare screen for Tianhao, but might have had that one blocked. Oscar guarding Manigault. He was successful earlier, but the screen, the cut, the back pass, pretty good Lioneers defense until Xiaoming gets it off and off glass. This time a little bit more conventionally from close range.
Well, they worked the shot clock all the way down to 3 seconds before they made that shot, and it was a good look. They were smart. They took their time, which was a change from the last possession where it was just chaotic and about 2 or 3 turnovers in a span of about 30 seconds.
AB stripped from the side as it turns into another fast break. Kenny Manigault, little skip pass to Venti, and Omar's gave it up by clubbing it to the other side. Xiao Sun-yi will take advantage of that opportunity. Little take foul there. And the Lioneers wanted to sub more than they wanted to play good defense. Get another look at what the Kings disagreed with, and they have a good argument. Xiao Sun-yi went really early.
They might have given him a little forearm shiver there to get a little spacing for that layup.
And Coach Greg forgot one last substitution as Evan will come in for Iboka. Lioneers only had one team foul until that one. Getting back to the defensive assignments, Lin Jingbang clinks that three-pointer. He's come in mainly for defense, and the other teams are really letting him take any shot he wants. Oscar, though, will roll it in softly.
Nice look by Oscar, setting her on that high screen by Tyler.
So Jingbang this time on the run, really showing off how old school of a player he is.
Yeah.
Nice flip pass by Oscar as the Lioneers have an advantage. Zimbabwe from close range couldn't get it. Similarly, a little take foul to stop the Kings in transition. When the final box scores are printed, it'll be pretty obvious that whenever the Kings get to running, they find a lot of success. If it's sloppiness or if they actually get stops, which is even better for the team in yellow in the game.
Yeah, it seems like tonight just the ball was bouncing their way on a lot of the possessions, and they, even though you said like you said it might have been sloppy, they were still finding ways to score.
Second miss in a row for Steve Tendringnan as Xiaosui frees away, and this time gets the left-handed dunk, though he comes down awkwardly, and needing a sub.
Yeah, it might have.
Well, he's up now, but limping off to the sideline as I don't know if it's so well advised for him to try the dunk after missing the first one and already having a wince on his face, though. Certainly acrobatic there, taking off from early on the cut. Zumbuyu, the one-handed assist. They're taking off with the right foot, but always the landing is what makes it tricky. Got just enough air, but came down funny.
Yeah, can't tell if it's the ankle or the knee that he came down on.
Manigal, another board, this time thanks to Xiaoming. And that's what the coaches, that's what Venti was talking about as he lets off some frustration with a made three. That effort play, because he is shooting open threes in that left corner, is Tendringnan.
Yep.
Dumbori hit one early in the quarter, but a high bouncing out as it looks like he's kind of running on gas. Kenny Manigal adds insult to injury, and now the Kings have surpassed the century mark, and another timeout by the Lioneers.
And the Lioneers have pushed that lead to, or excuse me, the Kings have pushed that lead over the Lioneers to 19. And it's going to be hard to come back in the next 4.5 minutes from this.
Venti on the game right now with just the 6 points, but 4 assists. You can throw in a steal, and don't forget there's 3, maybe even 4 assists that are unaccounted for on missed baskets by his teammates that the Kings eventually were able to put through the basket. We're listening in on the Kings timeout. There's Byron Mullins, presumably done for the evening. Maybe trying to find a particular fan in the stands. There's an enthusiastic one. Now the Kings do need to take this victory to tie the Taipei Fluon Braves for the best home record of the 3rd season. The Braves already 14-6, the Kings 13-6. Not that it really matters, but being able to an intimidating home court. Of course, the Kings have the better road record, which is why they're the #1 seed overall.
It is nice to have an advantage when you play at home and know that when you get here, the visiting team is going to have a difficult time playing. And so, you know, to have that title of the best home record is something that you can definitely work on and continue to build on throughout the season and into the next year.
Tyler bumping with Omar, but overshooting the hook shot. As credit to the Kings and the staff there on the scorers table, they've announced that Kenny Manigault has accomplished a triple-double. He had the quadruple-double with 10 steals against the Dreamers. Tries from 3 as Omar flies in, but can't secure the board again. That's definitely something we talked about for Byron Mullins to be able to get rebounds with one hand. Omar missing a couple opportunities. Oscar's floater is missed as Tyler, decent effort, but was out of bounds. Now in terms of rebounding on the game, The Kings have 53 according to the website and only 36 for the Lioneers, as Manigault will go off for the waiting number 4. The birthday girl's favorite player, presumably. Little shot fake, then go into the mid-range. 3.5 minutes to go. He dishes it off to Jingfang. He'll try the jumper, no.
Rebounding is something that we found from the very first quarter that the Lioneers were going to have to do to be effective in this game, and they just did not have the ability to crash the boards like they needed to. So that led to a lot of fast break opportunities for the Kings, who would push it up the court, get some good looks.
Venti to Jingfang, but this time it's Wayward with the push shot. Looking down the floor, it's Ling Jingfang who has the take foul, and obviously a game where both teams are really mindful of controlling substitutions and their playing time, as Portell will make it on the floor. He already has made an appearance in the Plus League, though he only has 1 basket to his name. Undrafted free agent. Had a lot of emotion at the actual Plus League draft, where he fell through with no teams picking him up, but had a good enough tryout with the Kings and had a contract ever since the offseason. Though has struggled to find playing time.
He's just an example of continue to work hard and your dreams will come true. And he may, you know, he still has a lot of work to do to get more playing time, but at least he's on the team and he has seen the court on a couple occasions. I know that there are a lot of people that would love to be in his shoes right now that didn't get drafted as well, and so.
Down low to Omar from outside the lane, but it bounces out.
There he is with the steal.
And a one-on-one with his teammate. He'll go up and in.
He definitely earned that basket with the steal and then the nice pass, the pass back.
So correction on my part, that is actually his first points. After only playing 22 seconds in a March 18th game against the Braves. Get another look at just playing aggressive as the Lioneers kind of had their feet stuck in the mud. Finishing through contact. Yeah, the referees are not going to let your first points be at the free throw line. Now there's a chant going on for number 22, Portell, out of Jinshin University, not too far away. And you see the bench with a little bit of a inappropriate celebration to defend the LED boards, but they retreated back before they can get penalized. As the Lioneers sub out Jeremy Tyler and will go all locals, just like the Kings. Or excuse me, no, Li Wei-ting lighting in on a different team. Joker's wild shot as it's all youngsters now for the Kings. Now controlling the basketball against Jiang Guangqian. And he will be called for his first offensive foul.
Definitely a push off with that right elbow.
Another look at exactly the same look that Anthony Bennett and Quincy Davis had on that side of the floor. There's a lot of weird symmetries going on the game.
Yeah, there are.
And now he'll be called for his first defensive foul.
Well, he's really put an effort on both sides of the court, drawing 2 fouls and getting his first basket. He's making the most of the opportunity, isn't he?
81 seconds left on the clock as the Kings bursting out from their bench. Evan will try the 3 in some uncontested minutes. Now he has a double-digit scoring. He's the 5th Lioneer to do so in their 89-point total, as little horn set and launches it from deep. Galton will have to wait for his first 3. Having hit it 1, and Evan makes it another. Right now, the stroke is flowing.
He's feeling it, so he's got the opportunity, and at the end of this game, just pick up some extra points, get that score a little closer.
Nice slip passes. Omar waits for Iboka to go up, but misses the close one. Finishing has definitely been a big problem for number 25.
Yeah, they're gonna need him to be able to finish those, especially when it comes to playoff time.
Maybe a finishing touch as Zembori hits another 3. Unfortunately for the Lioneers, they'll be taking their 7th loss in a row as the Kings will conclude the game and finish off their home schedule with the W. Getting a lot more players involved, as now on the scoreboard, it's 9 players who've gotten scores on the game. The final, 104-95. The team in yellow getting another victory. Not that it matters to the standings, but keeps on pushing ahead to their best record in the league, whereas the Lioneers, having that title for themselves last year, will head home for a 2-game homestand to finish off their season. So our broadcast partners trying to track down a player to interview at the end of the game. Right now the broadcast partners trying to figure out who the player is, and it looks like it's number 22, Galton, who was very busy in his last couple minutes. He had to commit 2 fouls, and oh yeah, he had that steal and layup too. As they finally get set up, number 22, Galton, is getting set up with a mic, though the celebration has got to hold off for a second. The teams have already been billed for a few broken headsets previously. There's Galton joining our post-game coverage. Trying to get through our technical difficulties. Galton, born in Hualien, went to New Taipei's Nelun Industry High School before Jianxing, where he was a one-time champ of the UBA level.
Hi, 你好。
Asked about the first score of his career and his feelings.
就是最后上来这2分钟，就是还蛮享受的，对啊，因为毕竟这是。
And they couldn't wait. There was 24 water bottles involved in celebration. And we had to hold off a little bit on the interview. So our broadcast partners are probably not that pleased. They'll probably send the bill over to James Mall to take care of. Our guest at the halftime. So on the game, if we go back to our recap, 5 Kings scoring in double digits, and 10 players overall getting on the board. And eventually, they found out to take more threes in the second half, 21 attempts and hitting on 8 of them to raise their percentage. They didn't get to the line as many times as the Lioneers, but probably not that big of a deal to them, as it seems like the Kings will spoil our post-game coverage and try to clean up the floor before the playoff game between, I believe, the DEA and the Suns will be playing in this arena, as we'll have to wait till next weekend on Friday for the Kings start of the playoffs. So early shower for Galton as they clean up the hardwood. But it just goes to show how connected the Kings have been all season with all their members of the team from 1 through 18. They were also able to dish 23 assists on the game to a relatively controlled 15 turnovers on the game. And as we mentioned previously, especially for the Lioneers side, winning the turnover battle, winning the rebound battle was at least a prerequisite to be having a chance. But we'll be going to one last break before breaking things down from Hsinchu.
Is a hobby, that's the way for me. Money coming fast, you never getting straight. I just had to buy another set. Bentley Spurs and Phantom Jordan fade away. Yeah, jumpin', I don't need no introduction. Jumpin', Metro Boomin' on production, wow. 100 cousins out in Memphis, they so country, wow. Tell her stay the night, valet your car, yeah. Jumpin', live on TNT, I'm flexin', Jumpin', they can't be my own collection. Jump when I say jump, the king and take direction. Jumbo with the bitches, you keep getting ridiculous. Heard it came through Magic City on a Monday. Heard they had the club wild, it was star-studded. A bunch of girls going wild when you turn flooded. And I had them like wild, cup dirty. Dope man. Money on the counter, choppers on the floor. I just caught that tempo, DJ Mustard, whoa. Way too much codeine and whoa. We just count up big racks, whoa. I know I'ma get my back, whoa. I count all these that they have on me now, I'ma have you like, whoa. Chanel number 9, Chanel number 5, but you got them both. Jumpin', them boys up to something. They just spent like 2 or 3 weeks out the country. Them boys up to something, they just not just bluffing. Jumpin', them boys up to something.
A final word from Hsinchu Gymnasium, home of the #1 New Taipei Kings in the regular season, as we put up the combined team statistics in their victory over the Lioneers. As we mentioned, the Lioneers probably a little bit more free and trigger happy from the outside. They eventually hit 14 3-pointers, which is a positive note, way above their season average shooting percentage. But the biggest problem for them still is the defensive game plan execution, and certainly the effort out there on the floor. If they couldn't get the offensive rebound, it's inexcusable that they allow a fast break by the Kings, which happened from beginning to end of the game.
Right, you know, they struggled from the very beginning, and we knew that they were going to have to hit those boards, and they didn't. And they didn't take the most of the opportunities. They had a couple turnovers that were just silly, and they just really didn't play effective basketball that you'd like to see at the 37th game of the season.
Their preview for the next game day is May 13th. Pilots versus Steelers at 2:30 at the home of the Steelers. The Steelers need a win to stay alive, because the next day, that could force a decisive showdown with the Formosa Taishing Dreamers against the Steelers on Sunday afternoon. Meanwhile, the Lioneers host the Kings and then the Braves Saturday, Sunday, respectively, to finish out our regular season. It's certainly been a long journey, but the best parts are saved for the end, as we're just about ready to games that will start counting up to the final winner and determining the champion of the league. So thanks, Darren, for joining our broadcast. Let's get tuned up ourselves for the final run.
All right, thank you very much, and we look forward to the playoffs.
So on behalf of the 6 teams in the league and the league operations, thank you, the viewer, for watching. Be sure to leave a like as we sign off for today, and we'll see you in the next one.